Councillor Sica.
Thank you, Council President. My head is spinning listening to all this conversation because I think I'm more confused now than I was earlier this afternoon when I was discussing this issue, and I actually probably may be in the minority up here. My daughter is 26 and did not get into the charter school 21 years ago by way of lottery, but that's okay. But I'm having a little trouble here. I have a letter up here that was attached to tonight's agenda, and it's signed by Councillor Winslow. I hear him say that this is a council issue, so I want to know why, if it was a council issue, this letter's only signed by Councillor Winslow, Ward 6 councillor. I think this is something that should have been discussed before we were actually sitting up here having this conversation, because I don't know if Councillor Winslow decided $2,500 per season or if it was our Malden Rec Department that decided $2,500 per season. I do know, over the past year, we've discussed how we were going to, charge fees for these particular parks, how we could continue to keep our parks beautiful, especially after the millions of dollars we've just invested into these parks. As long as everybody across the board is paying the same fee, then I have no issue with it. I feel like the charter school in Ward 6, yes, you are buying up a ton of property or taking away the taxes, it's fine. All your property is in pristine condition, it's immaculate. Even the building you took down in Maplewood Square looks 1,000 times better than it did when it was a little mini chain of stores. So I have no issue with that. I'm struggling with this because in one sense, I hear Councilor Winslow saying that he needs to get fees for this park. And then in another sense, he's saying that his residents should be able to take their grandchildren to the park during school hours. I do not have that luxury in Ward 8, and neither do my residents. Linden School does not own Linden Park, but Linden School trumps anybody going to the park during school hours. If there are kids, if Sally from Claremont Street wants to take her 3-year-old grandson over to Linden Park between the hours of 8 and 2, she can't. Whether she drives, whether she walks, whether she puts it to the carriage, she's gonna have to find another park, clearly not Trafton, to go to. And Ward 8 only has one park. So why should Ward 8 not be able to use their park and Ward 6 gets to use their park when it sounds, I thought this started as a fee issue, and I'm not really quite sure we're at a fee issue. I think he just doesn't want the charter school kids at the park after listening to us. I am more confused again now than I was coming into this meeting, and I really spent all afternoon. I have a copy of the park grant, I have the land and park programs, and if I'm reading this right, this park grant says that there's a specific area here that says that we're not going to charge fees to use the park, and we can't discriminate against residents and non-residents of the city of Malden. So I will not be in support of this paper this evening if we decide to vote on anything. I could entertain sending it to a public properties for more discussion because I really don't think we went about it the right way. And I love Joe and Laura. Councilor Spatafora and myself do a ton of things with the Malden Rec Department, and I trust them wholeheartedly, but I just don't understand why only Councilor Winslow was involved in the dialogue and I get it's his park, but we all should have been able to weigh in on it. And I don't know if it was Councilor or Matt, somebody had mentioned that, or it might have even been a resident, my apologies. Everybody up here, all 11 of us, although we're 8 ward councilors and 3 councilor at larges, our city is our city, and we should be deciding on parks, any public property together, not individually. Any public park, any public building, it should be 11 of us. It shouldn't just be one person deciding what we're doing with that particular space. So Again, I'm in the minority, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councillor Sica. I'm going to allow Councillor Winslow to respond before I take the next councillor.
Okay, Councillor Sica, I feel that comment's very ironic because literally when I talked about something on Town Line Brook, which is some residents, you attacked me for doing something in your ward. So please,
totally different,
Please
yes,
don't talk
okay,
over
yes,
each other.
yes. But first of all, I want to be clear on your first point. On your first point.
We're going to get irate.
No, on your first point, on your first point, related to the involvement of Joe and Laura. So I had been, for 2 years, my first outreach was to Joe Levine. We've been working on this for 2.5 years. The council, 2 years ago, I came with this issue. The council directed that to the Stadium Recreation Committee. So I have been working on this for 2 years, if you remember. And then as this issue came up, I affirmatively reached out to the charter school, and I was talking to Joe and Laura. And ultimately, what pushed me to bring this paper up is that I talked to Joe, and he said I had taken a step forward. He said, Steve, I really want your help in resolving this as the ward counselor. That's what ward counselors do, help resolve conflicts between. That's fine if Linden, that's how the dynamic is. I talked to people in Maplewood. When the Maplewood school was there, they never used the park. The St. Joseph's School back in '65, as far as I know, they did not use this park. This park has been always a neighborhood park. It was not used by the schools. That's the tradition. That's the tradition. Well, Neil, I've been talking to a lot of people,
No
so that
comments
is,
in the chamber.
Okay, so that is one of the clear things. And let me be clear. I just, you're putting word, I literally said 10 minutes ago that I am supportive of having the charter school use the Trafton Park at some times, but I'm not supportive of them having it, using it all day and not respecting the traditional use of the park as a neighborhood park. So that is my point. That's what I get to do as a ward councilor, just like you. I mean, the other thing I say about the schools is that in 25 years ago, we went through a whole public process when some of the parks were taken for schools. So there was a whole public process to consider. Those playgrounds were designed as part of that public process. When the charter school that was not a commitment that Trafton Park would be dedicated to the charter school. So there was a public process 25 years ago that laid out all those playgrounds and all those commitments that we made as a city. There was never an agreement when the charter school came to start using Trafton Park. And I say we need to clarify that now. Just as Councillor Condon is facing with Dever Park, there was never an agreement that the charter school, when they bought the Emerson School, was going to start dominating the use of Dever Park. So that's what we got to deal with. That's why I appreciate Councillor Condon speaking up here. We as ward councillors get to help create that balance. And I'm saying that the Mastic Valley Charter School, I'm not opposed to having them use the park, but it's too unbalanced, and that's what I'm hearing. And that's why I'm standing up, and that's why I'm standing up for my constituents who are saying that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Winslow. Councillor Sica for the second, and I'm going to say final time so I can get to the rest of the lights.
That's fine, Council President. I appreciate it. I just wanted to remind Councilor Winslow that it's a respect thing not to step into another ward councilor's wood, and that's what you did with the Town Line Brook. I'm not suggesting that here. I'm suggesting that before you sent this letter, we probably should have had a meeting, and all 11 of us decided what this letter was going to say and what the fee structure was going to be. I am not walking into Ward 6 and having a conversation with the charter school without the ward counselor. I did no such thing. And I would never step into another ward counselor up here's ward and try to do something. If somebody from Ward 7 calls, I call Councilor Simonelli. If somebody in Ward 1 calls, I call Peg. I know this person. Do you need me to help you, or can I give, excuse me, I have the floor.
Please hold your
Okay,
comments.
and the way that you just acted in your little rebuttal speech is the exact reason why you should not have been in charge of making decisions on this. St. Joseph's School did use the charter school way back when. They most certainly did. So
Thank
he
you,
doesn't know.
Councillor Sica.